I would have never thought that I'd be here defending Richard. Vegan gains. Publicly here. But I gotta do what's right. Richard, aka Vegan Gains, YouTube channel is no more. Richard's channel was terminated yesterday. YouTube has decided that he has earned 3 strikes, and thus his channel's out. So Richard has been doing YouTube since at least, I don't know, at least like 2014. He's been doing videos at least as long as I have, I think. Putting out video content that I disagree with vehemently. Right? I don't agree with the message that Richard is promoting. I believe that a vegan diet is very nutrient deficient. I believe that a vegan diet can cause incredible harm and damage. And in fact, I've seen many people in my own life, many of my close friends and even family members, suffer from the ill consequences of a vegan diet. Right? I've seen the mental, physical, even moral degeneration that happens with this obsessive, ravenous, vegan ideology that many of the people that we see on YouTube today are suffering from. That being said, I'm not going to come out here and gloat and laugh about Richard's channel being removed. YouTube's terms of service are so shady, are so not cut and dry, are so vague, that it makes it almost impossible for people to actually conform to YouTube's community guidelines. What YouTube is doing here is not protecting us from naughty content. What YouTube is doing, and what YouTube has been promoting lately, is the creation of a snitch/censorship society. Right? The censor snitch society, where content creators are forced to not only watch what they say, lest they get removed. You're not allowed to talk about certain public events and give alternate narratives. You're not allowed to question certain things on YouTube. If you use certain keywords, you will be instantly demonetized and perhaps eliminated from the YouTube creator community. What YouTube has been doing is rolling out a censorship program that gets you to censor yourself, unconsciously most of the time, and gets content creators to even censor and police their audience, because content creators on YouTube now are forced to actually monitor their chat. So during live streams, if somebody decides to make certain comments that YouTube's algorithm, for whatever reason, deems to be hate speech or bullying or misinformation or spam, right? People in your chat can actually get your video removed from YouTube. People in your chat can get you strikes on your channel. Right? So YouTube pushing content creators to not only censor themselves, but to censor their audiences. And here Richard is, his channel has been terminated. He's been given 3 strikes, retroactively given strikes for a video that he published a long time ago. So this is a video that was allowed to be up for years under Google and YouTube's community guideline standards, but suddenly, for whatever reason, it got flagged. Maybe he was mass spam flagged by people who were trying to get his channel removed, or for whatever reason, the algorithm creeped and crawled through his content and found something that it decided was not okay to put up on YouTube. But this was an old video. It's not like he put up the video yesterday and got himself a strike. This was old content. In fact, Richard has been removing his videos for months. He's removed hundreds of his videos to try to comply with the vague community guideline standards that YouTube puts out. But he still got deleted. Right? Shoot, he's even promoting, the message he's promoting is right in line with what Google and YouTube are pushing as far as the social engineering goes, right? He's pushing a vegan diet, a plant-based vegan diet, which makes loads of money for big agriculture companies, processed food companies, some of the main advertisers on YouTube. In fact, Google is actually involved with this group called Fresh, which is associated with the Eat Lancet campaign, Let's see. I thought I had the tab pulled up here. But anyways, Google is part of a council. Google is part of a council of corporations in partnership with the Eat Lancet Commission that are pushing for planetary plant-based guidelines for the diet, for the human diet. So this is not about Google hates veganism. Google's totally down for the exact message that Richard is here promoting. But because of the way the community guideline standards are set up, because of the way that the AI works, his channel got nixed. So I don't wish any harm to Richard. In fact, I kind of actually like Richard. Right? It's really hard for me to dislike people after speaking to them. But, you know, when I actually did a debate with Richard, and there were a few moments there where I saw him crack a smile. Right? I saw him crack a smile. I know he loves his wife. The violence level of his content has decreased significantly over the years. And he does seem to somewhat want to grow as a person. I wish Richard the best. I'd love to see Richard come out with his why I'm no longer vegan video as soon as possible. I'd like to see him stop suffering from the nutrient deficiencies, the depression, many of these other things that are directly correlated with dietary and lifestyle choices. I'd love to see him stop suffering from this, and I'd love to see him thrive. Right? We're not running a vegan hate operation here. We haven't even talked about veganism for the first few years of this channel. We're running a vegan rescue operation. We're here to help current and former vegans learn how to nourish themselves, to leave the cult. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about how pathetic, how silly, how ridiculous it is that so many people are cheering this on like it's a great thing, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, right? So we've got people who put out YouTube videos who are saying, this is just awesome, basically gloating about it. We've got people in the comment section all over the place. I'm seeing on all of these videos, people in the comment sections laughing, right? Saying, who's next? Let's start flagging people. Let's mass flag people. And this is not going to be helpful for any niche within YouTube at all, right? I mean, just looking at the diet niche right now, this dietary niche is pretty tame compared to some of the censorship that we're seeing within other niches of YouTube. Right? There are clear geopolitical, corporate, economic, sociological, and ideological positions that companies like Google and YouTube take. And a lot of people out there will say, oh, it's cool, man. It's the free market, bro. Right? Like when their opposition gets taken down, it's all the free market, dude. It's all good. They're just a private company. They have the right to do that, man. Well, I get what you're saying there. Supposedly, these are private companies, right? Google, Amazon, Facebook. These are private companies, right? Well, even Wired Magazine, one of these classic social engineering publications has been around for a long time. Even Wired Magazine openly talks about how big tech is merging with Big Brother. And in fact, big tech was created by Big Brother. Big tech is Big Brother. Where'd that article go? Here's Quartz. Google's true origin partly lies in CIA and NSA research grants for mass surveillance. You know how much money Google gets each year in government contracts. Google just turned down a $10 billion Pentagon cloud contract so that Amazon can step up. For $10 billion for AI and cloud contracts going out to these big tech companies. These are not public companies. These are private public partnerships between governments and corporate agents. Facebook started with seed money from Peter Thiel from In-Q-Tel, which is the investment branch of the Central Intelligence Agency. And all these big tech companies have been bolstered by billions of dollars in government subsidies, contracts, and many of them were even started with government money. Google's true origin partly lies in CIA and NSA research grants for mass surveillance, says Quartz. Well, what does this have to do with censoring Vegan Gains channel? You people talking about, well, there's a public company, and they have the right to do this. What are you talking about? How is Google not a private company? I think I said public accidentally a minute ago. How is Google not a how is Google a private company if they're receiving insane amounts of money from contracts, subsidies, and startup cash from the military-industrial complex? We need to look at what these things really are. Google, Facebook. These are the vehicles for the global dissemination of culture. And these are the vehicles through which these cultures are being influenced, driven, socially engineered. These are the vehicles through which people are being socially engineered. And just going through the response videos to Vegan Gains, it's kind of ridiculous. Right? We've got Goji Man talking about how he's worried his channel is going to be taken down now. Right? So he's removing his videos too. Goji Man removed 4 of his videos because he's afraid that all these little douchebags in the comment section talking about who are we going to get next? Who are we going to get next? He's afraid they're going to come after his channel. Right? And flag spam the shit out of it. So here's Goji Man. Let's hear what Goji Man has to say about it.
So given the Vegan Gains channel takedown yesterday, I have re-evaluated my videos and content and have removed a number of videos for fear that my channel will be targeted. Over the
That was 9 seconds, no jump cuts. So he's removing his videos.
last 12 to 15 hours or so, I've seen a number of comments like this one saying that my channel should be targeted for apparently consistently lying and peddling fake medical tests.
Okay, so I actually saw that comment. I think it was on the Bart K video that I also saw. Which I got it pulled up somewhere over here. Well, first we'll check out Durian Rider. Here's Durian Rider, what he has to say. Well, back to Goji Man though, just to finish up on Goji Man. He's worried that his channel is going to be mass flag spammed, and he's concerned about losing his channel. So he's removing videos and changing his approach to making content. He's making adjustments so that he can make sure that he doesn't get removed, that his income isn't threatened by this. Very different response than the pure psychopath Durian Rider, right? Let's see what Durian Rider has to say. Make sure I'm at the right timestamp. So here's what Durian Rider has to say about this whole situation.
I know Richard personally. I created Vegan Gains. I helped him get on YouTube, gave him his channel name, helped him with copyright issues, gave him video titles, thumbnail ideas, the fake natty, worst of the fitness industry.
I created Vegan Gains, says Durian Rider. So Durian Rider, he ain't sweating it, right? It's all good for Durian Rider. But what Durian Rider has to say is in the end of his video, he starts talking about how, well, the real problem here, the real problem with all this infighting within the vegan YouTube community is that people are not giving Durian Rider enough props. And so Durian Rider, of course, spins this into self-promotion, which, Goji Man did a little bit of as well. All right, talking about his testing. Right, the stool test, a Great Plains organic acid test. Durian Rider takes a slightly different approach and just goes for pure self-promotion. He doesn't try to play the victim at all. Durian Rider is the powerful creator of Vegan Gains. But near the end of his video, it gets pretty funny when he talks about it.
I hope he does get it back, but I hope he also has a new vision of inspiration to show people, how to really dominate the lifestyle. That's when I saw Richard, I was like, hey, create a YouTube channel, you got some passion there. I saw this lonely sort of kid living in his mum's basement, and I'm like, how can I give some purpose to a young
such a
man's life
philanthropist
living in
so
Canada,
kind.
who has some sense of humor and some creativities, but they're not going anywhere. So I groomed him up on YouTube, showed him how much money I was making, do all that stuff. Freely was giving him shout outs. I'm like, let's give this kid.
Right. So I guess it was about 11 minutes of Durian Ryder patting himself on the back because he created all this. It's all about Durian Ryder. But then he talks about how the whole YouTube community needs to be nicer to Durian Ryder. And the problem is people are searching for videos and they're seeing people attack Durian Ryder. So that's the problem. Right? Every single one of these people starts spinning this into, how can I get more views? How can I get more likes? Right? Every 1,000 views they get, they're just, give me some views. Oh, yeah. Give me them views, mate. That was pathetic. Right? How many people out here on YouTube, in the YouTube fitness or health community, how many people in this fitness or health community even believe in objective right and wrong? How many? We're looking at everybody we've looked at so far, basically moral relativists. Right? I mean, I guess one could levy the same critique against vegan gains, right? I mean, if you're a moral relativist and there's no objective right or wrong, well, first of all, how is it objectively wrong to eat animals? And second of all, if there's no moral objective right and wrong, why is it wrong for YouTube to remove him? So basically, nihilism leads to this, though, right? Nihilism leads to this narcissistic, self-congratulatory, I got to get mine before anyone gets theirs mentality. So instead of coming together to talk about the issues of censorship in YouTube, where the seed money from these companies like Google, Facebook, etc. comes from, and what they're actually doing with all of this data, with the new AI stuff that's being programmed, that billions of dollars are getting pushed into through Silicon Valley, through governments, to create these AI systems to do this, to monitor your chatter in relationship to the linguistic patterns that are happening in this cybernetic web, in the internet, and make subtle adjustments to the system in order to get predictable results. Behaviorism, the belief that humans don't have a soul, that we're just purely reacting to our environment, is tied in with this. The way that these platforms are being used, the way that YouTube is being used, the way these are being used, are not just to give you information. It's about behaviorism. These are being used to control people's behavior. Highly suggest everybody check out Aaron and Melissa from Truth Stream Media. They made a film recently, and they just released it on YouTube that you can watch for free. I purchased it when it first came out. I still haven't even finished the last hour of it because I've watched the first half of it so many times because they do such a fantastic job of breaking down the history of the creation of this modern tech Orwellian dream that we're seeing play out right now. So check out TruthStream, Aaron and Melissa's video called The Minds of Men. It's like a 3 hour and 40-minute documentary. Fantastic. Very, very important for understanding what it is we're seeing here and why we see Google and YouTube rolling out this system that coerces the content creators to police their audiences, censor themselves and others. Let's get Durian Ryder's crazy face off of here. Let's see another video that was up. We got Bart K. You know, I mean, it's just been a cringe fest of response videos to this. Now, let's hear what some of the anti-vegan folks had to say about it. All right, we put out a lot of content speaking out against veganism on this channel, but as we say all the time, I have absolutely no problem with vegans. In general, most vegans are duped. Most vegans are useful idiots of a bigger agenda of these processed food manufacturers, the grain producers, right? Big ag pharma. These people get duped into thinking that they're fighting the good fight, fighting for the animal rights, fighting for social justice for the animals. They don't understand the greater implications of what they're doing. They don't understand that giving animals rights dehumanizes you and I. They don't understand what they're doing. We're here to actually help these vegans out. We're here, we're running a vegan rescue operation. Show these people how to actually nourish themselves using whole, unrefined, nutrient-dense foods. Animal foods are the crux of the human diet. But anyways, even the people who are anti-vegan in general are cheering this on. Like, it's just awesome. So we got Bart K's response video here. You got 4 shirtless Barts on screen. Where's he going with this? Good picture of Vegan Gains channel there. Right? I mean, chicken scratching at the door right there. I don't know if you guys could hear that on the mic. Come on. This is a reaction, right? Just petty poking and prodding of people. Come on, guys. Come on, Bart. I have to do all my videos with shirts on. Everybody's taking my old video style here. But yeah, so then Bart had a stream. He talked a little bit about it. I didn't really get a chance to see the stream, but if you just kind of skip through, you can kind of get a good idea what he's into, what he's thinking about the situation.
Of harassment against another YouTuber without good grounds for doing so, and in a manner that's unacceptable in terms of what the social standards of behaviour are.
All right, so I mean, again, vague language. Without adhering to what the social standards of behavior are. What are the social standards of behavior? We don't have those in the society that's being created. Right? You don't believe in objective morality. You don't believe in objective right or wrong. Most people out there, and I've heard Bart say that truth is subjective, morality is subjective. So the standards of behavior are just whatever the most people believe are the standards of behavior, I guess, right? Whatever the most people say is right. So if the whole world said it was right to sacrifice the virgins on the volcano after drinking their blood, then that would be what was right. Right? And this whole moral relativist, might makes right, social Darwinist ecosystem of YouTube. And I have to disagree. It's like, let's see where he goes with this, though.
Harassment against another YouTuber without good grounds for doing so.
Without good grounds for doing so. What are good grounds for running a harassment campaign? How do you define what harassment is? Right? Is just criticizing somebody harassment? Right? What about the people who make comments on you and my videos? These vegans. I got a banned list longer than the top chat replay in the video right here. I got a banned list miles long. Is that harassment? Should they be banned from YouTube too? What are the standards? What are the standards?
And in a manner that's unacceptable in terms of what the social standards of behaviour are. Okay, then you are putting your neck on the block, and you deserve whatever happens.
Deserve whatever happens. So, more gloating. He deserves it. His channel deserves to be removed. No specifics on why. Nobody says where the line is. Right? Where do the community standards line end? Within the community standards and the absolutely outside unacceptable behavior begin? Even YouTube doesn't know this. YouTube vows to recommend fewer conspiracy theory videos. Site's move comes amid continuing pressure over its role as a platform for misinformation and extremism. So what is a conspiracy theory? Is it anybody who questions the mainstream narrative? Anybody who questions the media government narrative on event is a so-called conspiracy theorist? YouTube will crack down on toxic videos, but it won't be easy. So they're going to try to crack down on so-called borderline content. What is borderline content? Well, let's see. Videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness. So what does that mean? Whatever GlaxoSmithKline, Bayer Pharmaceutical, now Bayer Monsanto, is any treatment for anything or any lifestyle choice that might improve health, is that a miracle cure? Is that a phony miracle cure? Claiming the earth is flat. Apparently that's not allowed either. Right? You can't question if the earth is flat or not. Apparently, that's just dangerous. It's so dangerous. And we need the Silicon Valley gods to tell us this. Or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. I don't know if anybody remembers 9/11. That's when those 3 buildings fell down in New York when the 2 planes hit. And then that plane hit the Pentagon. But there was no video footage of it. And then there was one video released years later of one angle where you couldn't really tell what was going on. Even though the Pentagon is one of the most highly surveilled places on the planet. Remember that event? You're not allowed to apparently talk about these things. It's not okay. Social media companies have come under heavy criticism for their role in the spread of misinformation and extremism online. By who? Well, oh, you mean by the television. By the mainstream media who wants to control the narrative on everything. Okay. So that's what we're seeing here. And these people, vegans and carnivore-style dieters alike, are cheering this on. Not only cheering this on, but they think it's going to benefit them. They think they're not looking further than their next paycheck from Google. Right? Let's see. I thought I had another one pulled out. Oh, here you go. Frank Tufano. Vegan Gains is gone for good. Frank Tufano starts the video out talking all about Frank Tufano, of course. Just like Durian Rider, Frank Tufano. Let's talk about Frank here. Let's hear what Frank has to say.
Achieve that goal, I figured that I needed to make as much money as possible, get as famous as possible, and become as influential as possible. That's why
So, Frank wants to help you guys with your health. He wants to help you guys learn how to eat right. So he's got to make as much money as possible, get as famous as much as possible, and get all those clicks. Get those clicks. This is what we see. This is what we see in the YouTube community. When YouTube first started out, when there was no monetization, you know how much better it was? Remember before 2014 when monetization came about? How much better YouTube was? First of all, there was no censorship. People could put up documentaries about whatever they wanted and they would stay on there. Google Video back in the day was like that too. Slowly and surely though, using your tax dollars if you're an American, this behemoth has been growing. And the censorship machine has been rolled out phase by phase. Slowly, incrementally, right? Like raising the temperature real slow so the frog doesn't jump out. And here's what we have. We've got a vegan YouTube community that's not concerned with spreading veganism. It's a vegan YouTube community that's concerned with views, money, clicks, likes, popularity, dopamine hit. Give me my likes. Give me my clicks. High view count, dopamine. Your physiology, YouTubers, is literally being programmed. Your income gets tied in with this popularity. Your income gets tied in with people accepting you, liking you, giving you likes, sharing your videos. And the content you put out, if you're just putting out content just to get those likes, just to get those shares, your content fucking sucks. You make shitty content. You know why? Because who controls who gets likes, clicks, and shares? YouTube and Google. These are the biggest search engines in the world, and they prioritize the channels that they want to promote. The channels that Google and YouTube deem fit for consumption by us plebs are what they promote. So everybody ends up making the same videos with the same titles over and over and over again to get that attention, to get the dopamine hit, to feel loved, to feel wanted, or just to feel some more money coming into their pockets. This is the result. The monetization thing ruined YouTube. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else Frank's got to say. Frank basically ends up agreeing, oh, your YouTube channel was removed. You got to be careful what you say and how you treat people. You were naughty, naughty, naughty. Right? Again, not realizing that people can just go through and mass spam flag you too. How do you know you're not going to get removed? I mean, Frank's well aware of how the system works. Didn't he threaten to get Milk Jar's channel taken down? All right, let's see what else he has to say here. So he needs to get as much money and fame and popularity as possible, living that YouTube dream.
achieve that goal, I figured that I needed to make as much money as possible, get as famous as possible, and become as influential as possible. That's why.
Why? This is the funny thing. All these people want attention. All these people want to be looked at. You know, Mike Tyson said the same thing, man. That's just all people want. You want people to look at you. You want people to look at you. It's thick, man. It's thick. It is. It's a sickness. And YouTube, this whole YouTube content creator community, oh, how cute am I today? Look at my little fake life. Here's my clips. This is creating sickness in the community and in the general population as well. I mean, YouTube has basically become a mental illness beauty pageant, popularity contest for dopamine hits and likes. It's become a drug for some of these people. And people don't even realize that a lot of the times, a lot of the views, a lot of the trends, a lot of what's allowed to trend is not the natural outpouring of human attention where people really want to go. The videos that YouTube wants you to see get prioritized. The videos they don't want you to see get removed. So, what are we going to do about this? Right? What are we going to do about this YouTube madness? This YouTube ecosystem has changed a lot over the last few years. And even last year I talked about how much I disapprove of the direction that this platform has gone, and the direction that it's going, and the sickness that it perpetuates. So, Vegan Gains' channel was removed. I don't agree with what Vegan Gains puts out there. In fact, if I was in charge, so what so many people are thinking these days, well, what if it was me in charge? Would I remove it? Funny hypotheticals, right? This whole free speech thing is becoming very, very interesting. My freedom of speech, my freedom of speech. Even though these are so-called private corporations, and they're not publicly held, Google and YouTube are receiving massive amounts of money from the U.S. government and from other governments. And these big tech companies are actually going beyond governments. These big tech companies are becoming a new governance system that's autonomous from national governments. This is a really interesting phenomenon. Now, I don't know. I hope Richard gets his channel back, not because I want to see Richard's content, right? Not because I agree with Richard, not because I agree with his message, but I want to see his YouTube channel reinstated, because I don't want my channel to be removed. All you people, all you dummies out there laughing about this, gloating about this, saying this is good. Freedom of speech, man. It's a private company. It's not their job. They don't have to give you freedom of speech. What happens when your channel gets removed and you have no idea why? What happens when your channel gets flagged for a video you put out years ago and your shit gets taken down and you get depersoned, deplatformed? Well, you're out of a job. If your whole life relies, if your entire income relies upon view money from Google and YouTube and Amazon affiliate links, you don't work for yourself. You're an employee. You're an employee of YouTube. You're an employee of Google. You're an employee of Amazon. So all you YouTubers out there, think about diversifying what you're doing. If your main income comes from YouTube views, from Patreon money, from e-begging, and from Amazon affiliate links, what are you going to do if they come for you? What are you going to do if the algorithm suddenly decides that private messages from 10 years ago can get you deplatformed? What are you going to do when the AI Big Brother behemoth comes for you? It's time to stop putting out clickbait bullshit content. Time to stop just trying to make a freaking name for yourself and be famous just for the sake of being famous. Time to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what the hell am I really doing and why am I doing it? At least some people are honest. They're just in it for the money. But I hope Vegan Gains gets his stuff together. First time I've ever liked a Vegan Gains video is today. So if you're not showing support for Richard, don't be surprised if it happens to you next.